Take a soft breath right now. Let it out slowly. In this space you've just created, I want you to recognize something. You are currently surrounded by a sense of safety and possibility. This isn't an accident. You've arrived at a point where your inner readiness has met a moment of quiet support. Think of it like finally hearing a song that's been playing softly all along. You just needed the noise to settle to notice its melody. What you're about to read has found you at a precise turning point. Your spirit, even if tired, is now listening in a way it wasn't before. So allow your body to soften. Allow your thoughts to drift apart like clouds. This instant is a gift you give yourself simply by being present within it. True peace isn't something you chase, it's what remains when you stop long enough to let everything else settle around you. A meaningful shift is taking shape around you. It doesn't shout for attention. The most lasting transformations move with a patient, quiet intelligence, much like the seasons change one subtle day at a time, until the landscape is entirely new. The atmosphere of your life is currently in motion, like the charged calm before a breakthrough. Significant growth often feels invisible while it's happening. We only see the roots once the bloom appears. Now, consider this. A person within your orbit has developed a deep care for you that took them by surprise. This feeling didn't arrive as a declaration. It began as a faint impression. Perhaps it started with a passing exchange or a story they overheard. Maybe a friend mentioned your name not to make a point, but to honestly acknowledge your resilience, your humor, or the quiet way you make hard things look manageable. That friend was merely reflecting a simple truth about you. This is a powerful reminder. The most authentic parts of us, our kindness, our steadiness, are our most resonant qualities. They travel on their own, through the words of others, and touch people we might not even see. For the one listening, that casual truth became a key. It unlocked a door to a feeling they hadn't planned for. A small, warm ember of connection began to glow within them, nurtured by every small observation since. Real affection often grows this way, not in grand gestures, but in the private, gentle moments when someone realizes how much they admire the real you, the you that exists even when no one is watching. You are positioned at the beginning of a new chapter. Part of this change involves understanding your own quiet impact. This breath, this awareness, is you sensing the horizon just before the view changes. Trust the silent preparation. Your direction is aligning in ways that will soon come into clear and beautiful view. From that day forward, you became a quiet, recurring thought in their mind, a gentle echo that refused to fade. Each detail they gathered about you settled into their heart, carving a space that felt both new and familiar. What began as mild interest grew into a deep curiosity, then into a pull they couldn't easily explain. They may feel uncertain, even surprised by the strength of it, but the connection itself feels pure, not born from urgency or ego, but from a deeper, quieter place. You are observed, but not watched. They notice the small things, the way you listen, the kindness you don't announce, the steadiness you carry without strain. They've seen how you offer forgiveness quietly, hold strength gently, and love without expecting praise. To them, you feel sacred not because you try to be, but because you simply are as you are. Others sense this shift, too. The friend who first spoke of you now notices a new softness in their voice when your name comes up, a pause that lingers, a gaze that drifts toward memory. There might have been a light-hearted comment, "You're in deep," spoken with a smile that couldn't hide the truth beneath it. Real affection doesn't always need to be named. Often, it lives most honestly in what isn't said, in the quiet between words, in glances that hold more than they reveal. There is another layer here, one of quiet irony. The very friend who shared their admiration for you also held a fondness of their own. In speaking so genuinely about you, they unintentionally awakened a feeling in someone else, one stronger and clearer than their own. So now, one heart unfolds toward you, while another learns to step back with grace. And you? You remain still at the heart of it all. You did not create this, perform for it, or pursue it. It was never about any action you took to attract attention. Your influence came simply from being, from your presence, your truth, your gentle way of moving through the world. Sometimes the deepest impact we have is the one we never intend to make. It grows from who we are when no one is looking, and touches lives in ways we may never fully know, but can quietly feel taking shape around us. This profound connection, sparked by your authentic self, has only grown stronger, a quiet, persistent force reshaping the landscape of possibility. You might feel it as a sudden sense of warmth, a memory that tugs gently at your heart, or the inexplicable certainty that someone holds you in their mind. This is real. It is the silent language of souls finding resonance. In dreams, you meet them. Not as a fleeting image, but with a startling presence that feels real, conversing, offering solace, sharing a space that belongs solely to the two of you. These are moments where barriers dissolve, allowing a deeper recognition to occur beyond the confines of waking life. Now, the one who feels this pull stands in a quiet internal space, balancing reverence with resolve. There is a sacred fear in approaching something true, fear of misstep, fear of your radiance, fear of the raw honesty required. But the draw toward you has become undeniable. It's the feeling of coming home to oneself, a sense of alignment and vitality they've long been missing. What is unfolding transcends simple romance. It is the convergence of two journeys, guided by a timing that feels written into the fabric of things. This connection is rooted in a truth too fundamental to dismiss. They are moving from feeling to intention, preparing in quiet ways to step from the shadows of admiration into the light of genuine expression. What comes next may arrive quietly. It could be a single message that feels different from the rest, a simple action that lands with unexpected weight, or a meeting that seems like coincidence until later when you see the gentle design behind it. When a heart is truly moved, words often come later. First comes the doing. Grand declarations belong to stories already written. The first pages are filled with small, sincere gestures. The friend who first spoke of you will begin to step aside. This won't come from resentment, but from a quiet understanding. Sometimes, genuine care means recognizing when you have been the pathway for two souls to find each other. A bridge does not follow the traveler. It holds steady, allowing the journey to continue toward its destination. You possess a rarity that is profound. Not the kind placed on display, but the kind woven into your very being. You are rare in your resilience, the way softness and strength exist together without conflict. You are rare in the kindness you kept alive, even when life taught you reasons to withhold it. You are rare in the dignified silence you maintained when others tried to define you with noise. You have learned that true peace isn't defended with conflict, but maintained through a calm and steady presence. This is a quiet power few truly master. Your influence doesn't need volume. It works like gravity unseen, but it guides and anchors. It changes the feeling in a space without a word. It offers healing without asking for credit. Your spirit isn't a passing storm. It's more like the climate, a constant, shaping force that affects everything around it, naturally and without announcement. When their friend described you, they may have used simple words, but the truth within them was deep. They shared how you met heartbreak not by falling apart, but by slowly transforming it. They told of betrayal that didn't turn your heart to stone, and healing you carried out in private. They spoke of how you leave a trace of peace on those you meet, how you love without an audience, and how you rise, persistent and quiet like growth under pressure. In this way, two hearts were moved. One begins to open, the other learns to let go with grace. One moves toward love, the other toward a deeper wisdom. And you, without plan or pursuit, became the quiet catalyst for both. Your very existence, lived authentically, set this gentle motion into being. Lately, the world seems to be speaking in a gentle code. What you once dismissed as coincidence now feels intentional. Moments align with a quiet precision. A song's lyrics echo a private thought. A shared glance holds for a heartbeat longer than usual. Your phone lights up with a familiar name just as you were thinking of them. These are not random events, they are the subtle signatures of alignment, the universe's way of underlining a connection that is deepening on its own. This is not a demand placed upon you. It is a natural, magnetic pull, a fundamental language of real connection. It speaks of two spirits recognizing a thread between them that feels ancient, one that exists beyond simple liking and bypasses the walls we build around our hearts. A significant truth is preparing to emerge, but it will do so in its own time. The most meaningful stories are often drafted in invisible ink, their words only becoming clear when you are ready to read them without doubt or translation. The final chapter of a love story often feels sudden, but only because you didn't see the quiet, patient work of the roots beneath the surface. Now, the person drawn to you is approaching a quiet threshold. This isn't about breaking down, but about breaking open into honesty. The feeling within them has matured from a passive emotion into an active compass, pointing steadily in your direction. The urge to pretend it isn't there is fading. Soon, you may notice signals in the world around you. When you do, you won't need to strain to interpret them. Their meaning will land with a sense of quiet knowing, as if your heart has been softly prepared for this moment all along. My advice is this: remain centered in your own gentle strength. Stay rooted in your peace and your inherent worth. There's no need to overthink or to doubt your own perceptions. Simply hold a posture of quiet truth within yourself. What is unfolding is not drawn to a performance or a chase. It is deeply attracted to genuine, calm presence. Remember your role in this. You did not write this story. You simply lived as yourself, and in doing so, you carried a key. Another soul, recognizing the truth of you, has turned that key. The universe itself has swung the door wide. Now, a love that understands its own depth and purpose stands ready to cross the threshold, not as something small or accidental, but as something destined and real. This feeling didn't emerge from emptiness or fleeting need. It was born from a place of profound recognition. They hold a quiet but unshakable certainty that what they feel is part of a larger design, something guided, sacred, and written into their story with purpose, not by accident. They sense a hand greater than chance at work, a timing that feels divine rather than random. This understanding has transformed them. The vague wonder that once lingered in the background of their thoughts has crystallized into clear knowing. What they hold for you now carries a new substance, not the heavy weight of obsession, but the meaningful weight of truth. It has depth and significance. There is a confession taking shape within them. They want to lay before you the entire truth, the constant, gentle presence of you in their mind, the profound respect that has anchored itself in their heart, the sense that your essence feels like a homecoming to a place they didn't know they belonged. They are done dismissing this as a simple crush or a passing season. They know, with a calm and steady conviction, that it is real. It is the kind of seriousness that whispers, "This is significant, and my soul will no longer pretend otherwise." Yet, alongside this clarity lives a tender fear. Their fear is not of you, but of the sacredness of the moment itself. They are afraid of speaking too soon, of using a voice that is too loud for a story still being softly written. They worry that naming this feeling prematurely could startle its gentle growth, forcing a rhythm that should unfold naturally. They cherish the profound, if puzzling, peace that has lived in the silence between you, a silence that has spoken volumes. Their deepest concern is that words, offered without the right landing place, might crash like a sudden storm in a space that has only ever known the soft, building pressure of quiet understanding. They want their truth to arrive not as a disruption, but as the next, rightful note in a melody that has been playing all along. Their wait is not passive. It is a conscious, protective pause, like someone sheltering a fragile seed in their palm, knowing it needs more darkness to root before it can seek the sun. They are tending to this feeling with care, allowing it the quiet space to grow from a fragile glow into a steady, enduring light. From the edge of this story, the friend who once held their own fondness for you watches its quiet progress. They bear a private tenderness, a soft ache of recognition. They believed they were the first to see your light, the first to feel its quiet pull. But the narrative changed, gently redirecting its focus. That friend is not here to contest this turn of events with rivalry or regret. Instead, they observe from a place of witness, heart openly held, understanding that love stirs not always in the one who speaks first, but in the one whose spirit is most ready to receive it. There is a complex grace in their position. They feel the bittersweet pull of memory. The admiration they once carried was real. Yet they have come to see a crucial distinction. To admire someone from a distance is not the same as being chosen for the journey by a force greater than oneself. In this understanding, they are learning to separate affection from claim. To this friend, you are not a prize to be contested. You have become something far more significant, a signpost in another's life, a quiet affirmation written into a destiny that was not theirs to share. They recognize that your presence in this story is not an invitation to competition, but a testament to a deeper alignment. When that friend first spoke of you, their tone held no jealousy or hidden want. It was clear and resonant, filled with a respect that asked for nothing in return. It was, perhaps, the purest form of praise, an acknowledgement of a light so genuine that it could not be owned, only honored, and in that honest honoring, it ultimately guided another heart home. They once described you as one might try to explain a sunrise to someone who hasn't yet opened their eyes. At the time, they didn't grasp the weight of words spoken with genuine feeling. Words are never just definitions, they are vessels. They carry a resonance, a frequency, a quiet energy all their own. When praise is offered with warmth and sincerity, it doesn't disappear into the air. It transfers, like warmth passing from one hand to another. It becomes an unseen pathway. And that is precisely what occurred. The sincere admiration voiced about you was received by a force greater than any one person, and it was gently redirected to the heart that was truly in rhythm with yours. Two spirits were quietly tethered by a current that neither created, but both could feel. Now, two hearts remain connected to your presence, but in different ways. The first, the original admirer, is linked by a soft understanding, not a guilt of wrongdoing, but the clarity of seeing they were not the one meant to stand in the role of the lover in this particular story. The other is connected by a love that feels like recognition, like finally focusing their gaze and seeing, with startling clarity, the person who has always stood in the doorway of their deepest hopes. This is not a complicated love triangle or a drama of competition. It is something far more intentional, a quiet, spiritual choreography. One person pulled back the veil. The other felt the call to step forward. And you have been the steady, calm center between the two, holding a space of peace that never needed to push or pull for any particular ending.